So, yeah, that's true. Sarah in the chat just said, I had a fan for years who he's the nicest guy in the chat, but now I found out that the guy's basically like a pedophile. Like he's got all this shit on his YouTube channel and stuff. It's disgusting. And I tried to be nice to the guy for the longest time because he would never break the rules. He would never do anything wrong in my chat. But then everyone kind of campaigned to get him banned. And then finally I got convinced by these people I was doing a collab with to get rid of him. And I was like, I guess, this is the kind of people that get involved in these communities. Like, dude, it's weird. The internet's a weird
How do you have to be
place.
Convinced? What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that a little more for me?
Listen, it's not like I have any problem kicking, a pedophile out of my community. The problem is this is someone who has absolutely never shown that in any of my streams or content. Like, I wouldn't even know about this if my detractors hadn't stalked this guy. Like, apparently they went to his social media, they went to his YouTube channel, they went to private playlists. I don't know, because I literally have never seen it. I don't want to see it, right? I don't want to be involved with that shit. But, I start hearing from detractors, oh, this guy is this guy is that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm not a guy who's going to micromanage and stalk every one of my fans because someone says something negative about them, right? So it was like my philosophy, listen, I'm not your dad. I'm not your fucking parent. I'm not the cops. I shouldn't be, going to everyone's social media to see what you're into in your private life and shit. I really don't care. Just don't bring it to my content. I want to know nothing about it. But
okay. So I have a few problems with that.
All right, fine.
The thing about that is like, yeah, you shouldn't be stalking people. But in this instance, it sounded like they were doing you a favor. They're saying there's someone who's into like little kids. Like, that's giving you that's not stalking someone and being unreasonable. If someone says like this person has pedophilic tendencies, you should probably ban them from your chat. You got to think of like, what if they're DMing other people in your chat? What if they're doing shit behind the scenes? I think you as a content creator, a streamer, however you want to style yourself, has a responsibility to the people who pay your bills to protect them from people like that. I think that if it took you a long time from when they first told you to you banning them, that's a pretty big moral failing, in my opinion.
Well, the way I see it, and listen, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not. The way I see it is, this is a guy who, I would argue, was probably about a year and a half, 2 years, was in chat and never caused a problem. And I didn't know any of this shit. And then all of a sudden, where do you hear it from? Am I hearing it from trusted people? No, I'm hearing it from like my detractors are coming in and trolling the guy. And by the way, this is not the only guy. They do this with a lot of my viewers. This just happened to be like a bad offender. Like, they'll make fun of my viewers for dumb shit too. This is a really bad
pedophilia
situation.
This is different. You could take 5 minutes to check the validity of this, right?
Well, again, that's a big step. For me, that's a big step, because you're saying now that any time that one of my detractors comes in and says, hey, just so you know, this person's doing something bad, now I'm supposed to just believe them and go check on every single person. Because what happens is when you give these people an inch, they take a mile. So the first time it happens and I entertain it and I take the step, now it's going to happen to the next person and the next, and they're never going to give up. They're just going to do it literally to every person. And eventually it's going to be bullshit. It's going to be, this isn't serious. They're just doing it now to get attention because they realized they got me to react the first time. But I agree with you now.
The first time was a legitimate thing though, right?
But now I know it was. I didn't know it was at first. It took a lot of convincing from a lot of different people. And in fact, I had to personally behind the scenes apologize to a couple of people who were not detractors, who did recently tell me about this guy. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to give those haters that satisfaction that they think that I'm just going to take action because they say something about it.
But that literally doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the alternative is what? He's a pedophile and you don't ban him, and that you're sticking it to the detractors that way. They would probably be like, okay, well, we don't like Phil. We don't like that he asked for so much money. But when it comes to serious issues like this, he's, because you got to stop thinking about these hypotheticals. Ultimately, you said previously, should I check every time one person says something about my viewers? But before you said that, you told me just now that a lot of people were telling you about Derek, right?
At one point, yes, very recently. And that's actually when I got rid of him.
Okay. So I don't know. I just think if you're going to have the audacity to go in and like let's face it, like streaming's pretty cushy in a lot of ways. If you're asking people for money, you should do right by them. And I think that doing right by them means not allowing actual child predators to just freely roam the chat, right?
For the record, I don't even know if it's like fully true. I just know people have told me. I didn't go deep into looking into this guy's stuff. And for the record, because I know you probably don't know this, there's no DMs on YouTube. There's no way this guy could have like reached out and tried to stalk or harass people through my channel. Unlike Twitch, where definitely that can happen, and there's evidence it happens all the time. On YouTube, it's just, it's like a comment system. So this guy, to my knowledge, was not ever taking anything that he did in his private life and putting it onto my my viewers or other people in the community. In fact, again, the only reason I knew about this is because supposedly my detractors went deep into his shit to find it. And then when they found it, they threw it in my face like it's my fault, right? Oh, you have a follower who's a fucking pedophile. How dare you not take action? I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, why are you bothering me with this shit, But then after a while, you hear more and more people talk about it. And that's why, yes, finally when you have enough people, like, they're all confirming it. All right, now I got to take action because it's true. But my issue with it, now I understand. But my issue with it was I was afraid that if you give these people an inch, they will keep taking the mile and keep pushing the envelope with every person in chat, with every person who ever supported me. And then, by the way, for the record, this guy didn't even support me. He never even gave $1. He never became a paid member, nothing. He was just the chatter.